Our episode where we talk about the British and exactly why it is that the British should have won the war but didn't. So, first, after the Declaration of Independence, we officially broke up with the British. And like all breakups, this one leads to some fighting. And the British have some advantages. First of all, they have the best navy in the world. They have huge fleets of gunboats. They're used to sailing all over the world because the British Empire is huge. They also have an experienced, well-trained army. People used to have to pay to become an officer in the army. It was a career. Britain is very wealthy thanks to mercantilism, and they have a population of around 8 million. All of these are advantages over the colonists. So, the Patriots also have some advantages. For example, they're fighting on their own land. They have the home court advantage. And they're fighting for their freedom. It's a deeply personal cause. They also have the better leader in George Washington. However, they still begin to get their butts kicked. They just don't have the supplies. It is not going well until the Battle of Saratoga. So the Battle of Saratoga is the turning point of the war because the colonist victory convinces France to become an ally or a friend or supporter of America. Marquis de Lafayette is a French nobleman who is convinced that he's going to fight for America to the extent that he leaves his wife and his baby and sneaks out of France. You also know a little bit about Bernardo de Galvez, who led the Spanish armies against the British near the Mississippi River. So again, Spain doesn't like Britain, so they're going to side with us, and so is France. However, before the French and Spanish get there, they're going to have an awful winter at Valley Forge. So in 1777, they need a place to camp, and George Washington and his troops camp at Valley Forge, and it is bitterly cold, and they don't have enough food or clothes or shoes, and a lot of the soldiers just up and leave. Many of them are sick. But George Washington shines as a leader here. Instead of giving up, he trains his troops. And at the end of the winter, the soldiers are well trained and they're ready to fight. So despite everything they go through at Valley Forge, they're ready to kick some British butt. We also need to talk about fighting at sea and my very, very favorite patriot, John Paul Jones. So the British decide that they are going to block the colonists from trading by lining up their many, many ships so that nothing can come in or out. Americans use privateers, kind of like pirates, to sneak through blockades and even destroy British ships. And my very favorite pirate is John Paul Jones. He is the father of the American Navy. He goes all the way to Britain, starts attacking and kidnapping British ships and taking them back for Americans to use in their Navy. He gets into a naval fight one day and he says, "I have not yet begun to fight." 17th century for bring it on. All right, and we also need to talk about fighting in the South. So the British wins battles in the South, but they're not able to control the countryside where people, again, are more motivated to fight for their freedom. There's a man named Francis Marion who becomes known as the Swamp Fox because he uses successful guerrilla warfare. Instead of taking on the British head on, they hide behind trees, they hide in swamps, and they shoot the British as they're coming, which gives them an advantage. All right, this is the big one, the Battle of Yorktown, 1781. So, General Cornwallis and his redcoat, or British troops, are on the coast waiting for supplies of Virginia at Yorktown. Washington surprises Cornwallis by attacking him on the land, while the French attack him from the sea. So Cornwallis is surrounded. Washington captures 2 British generals, including Cornwallis, which results in the British surrendering or ending the war. So Yorktown is the last major battle of the Revolution, and it leads to them signing the Treaty of Paris in 1783. So what happens is Ben Franklin, John Adams, and John Jay go to Paris to negotiate a treaty or an agreement to end the war with Britain. Britain agrees to stop fighting, and they say that America is its own country, and it spreads America's borders clear from the Atlantic Ocean to the Mississippi River. All right, and that is the end of the war. Next time we'll look at heroes and villains, and you can decide for yourself who is who. Have a great day. We're going to go ahead and stop the loop.